There is no guarantee that gas or oil that is extracted in the state of Ohio is going to directly benefit Ohio citizens. As we all know, those go to the broader marketplace. So I think that to associate oil and gas exploration and extraction in Ohio with reduced gasoline rates is a serious misnomer. Those commodities will be subject to the wider market. I would like to thank you very much for coming here today and for asking questions, and let you know that if you would like to see a 100-foot drilling derrick on public lands, you can go to Fernwood State Forest today in Jefferson County. I was there last weekend, and the first thing I saw when I entered State Forest property was a 100-foot drilling derrick. I saw it from about a half a mile away, so to think that we can hide these things I think is erroneous. I saw it from a half a mile away and I thought, is that the fire tower lit up in lights? And no, it wasn't. It was a humongous drilling derrick in one of our state forests. So again, thank you for coming out today. Yes?
Yeah, so that's a fracking facility.
I don't know if it is conventional.
It's conventional.
But it is the very large drilling derrick that is associated with fracking, yes.
And that's part of the 99.5% that the oil and gas industry can already drill in the state of Ohio. Public lands, the state forests, Wayne State National Forest, and our wildlife.
And private land.
They're private land.
Absolutely private land. So we have a number of leases that are being signed right now. So imagine if they were all to be implemented right now, how would our departments that are supposed to be responsible, Ohio EPA, ODNR, handle that, plus our state parks that they're going to do.
Right.
So
right.
It's just going to be one big oil rig in the state of Ohio, natural gas oil rigs. And I talked to the Department of Ohio EPA director, and he anticipates 10,000
wells
in the state of Ohio in our state parks.
In our state parks. Private business. I get you don't want to have any drilling at all in state parks. I got that. But on private people, you want to have a 6-month moratorium on even private people saying, I'd like to sign a lease with a company to do fracking.
We are not talking about a moratorium on leases. We are talking about a moratorium on drilling permits, not for 6 months, but for a year or however long is needed to do a complete analysis of the environmental and public health impacts of this new technology. Because we have these concerns, because we have earthquakes, because we have spills, because we have cows and people sick. We had a gentleman who testified before the House a few weeks ago that testified that his water is already contaminated. His water, he said if he turned on his shower, he turned on his tap, and he flushed the toilet, lit a candle, and left the room, his house would blow up. His neighbors are already they're still drinking this water. So we have problems. We need to have an analysis that closely looks at the potential environmental and public health impact, and we don't think that has happened. We don't think the regulatory framework is in place to protect Ohio citizens. And so we have those concerns, and that's what we would like to see. And I think, for industry spokespeople to say that you're not going to notice a drilling derrick on state parks is just a fallacy. I mean, if I could see it from a half a mile away in a completely forested area, you're gonna be able to see it. The other thing that we have concerns about is there's this, mandatory pooling clause where if your neighbors, we have a lot of greater concerns with just, the fracking, the non-conventional fracking. If a certain number of your neighbors enter into leases, you can be mandatory pooled and forced into a lease. And so I think if you'd like more information about that, I would recommend that you contact Trent Doherty at Ohio Environmental Council, and he'd be happy to share more information with you on that. So it's a private property right. Because of it, it's, your water resources are threatened, and we have private property rights in our water resources in the state of Ohio, in our groundwater and our wells.
So you want a 1-year moratorium on permits being granted for fracking,
yes.
Using fracking.
Yes.
And I want to let you just respond to the idea of, well, if I own land, why shouldn't I be able to, on my land, lease my land for a fracking thing.
We're not saying that you can't lease your mineral rights for fracking. We're not talking about prohibiting you from doing that. We're not talking about that at all.
But you'd stop the company from getting a permit to actually do the drilling.
Until we have safeguards in place, that we feel would protect human health and the environment. That is what we would like to slow down, and you can sign a lease, you know. We hope that, you know, lease signers are informed. Representative Fetter could speak more about, you know, some possible deception that's going on in the state of Ohio regarding lease agents. But we would like this to slow down so that we can enter into this in a careful, thoughtful way.